Hey man, say man, welcome to 31 Reasons, where we got all the reasons for every season. Appreciate y'all boy for stopping through, popping through, dropping through. Hey, dumb love 31 fam. Appreciate y'all boy for making it. So look, right, this gonna be 31 Reasons where I'm gonna be giving y'all my basketball takes, you know what I'm saying? And well, sports takes in general, like I say. I got all the reasons for every season. But today we're gonna be tackling the MVP talk. And since the season winding down, I'm gonna just go ahead and give y'all who I think gonna win the MVP. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's just crazy because like before I started doing my research on this, I actually had a different guy winning the MVP. And then after my research, I ended up coming to a different conclusion on who I think should win it. So I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts of who gonna win it, and y'all could always drop in the comments who y'all think should win it and stuff like that. But and also, this is also barring no injuries, nobody gets hurt, and everybody makes the 65 game requirement. But yeah, this is gonna be my channel where I just give y'all my basketball takes and things like that. And yeah, so let's do it. All right, y'all. So to start off, we got the Kia MVP ladder. Victor Wembanyama surges past SGA for the #1 spot. You know what I'm saying? I don't really gotta explain Victor Wembanyama. We know 7'6", shoots threes, blocks shots, the whole nine. So #1 on the ladder, we got Victor Wembanyama. Last week he was at #3. His season stats 24, 11, and 3. His case, I'm not gonna read that. At #2, we got SGA. You know what I'm saying? He's at #2. Last week he was #1 on the season. He's averaging 31, 31 and 5, or 31.5, 4.4 rebounds, 6.6 assists. We at #3, we got Nikola Jokic. He actually went up from #4. He was #4 last week, so now he's up to #3, averaging 27.8, 12.8 rebounds, 10.8 assists. So he's having an amazing season, leading the league in rebounds and assists. And then you got Luka Doncic at #4. He dropped down from #2. I think that's too far down, but that's just my opinion. But I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all my order on who I think should be where. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so Luka's at #4. He's averaging 33.6, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. He's also leading the league in scoring, by the way. All right, and then we got Jaylen Brown. You know what I'm saying? Probably the weakest stats on here, but I don't think he should be 5th, honestly. You know what I'm saying? He's at 29.7 rebounds, 5 assists, and then we got the obvious other ones. We got Cade, I feel like Cade would have been in this top spot up there, but then you know what I'm saying, the collapsed lung kind of set him back, so sucks. And I feel like none of these guys really else had a chance. So we're just gonna tackle these guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it into my order and who I think should do it. So we're gonna go from 5 to 1. All right. So on my MVP ladder, where I would have everybody, so boom, I'm gonna be honest, right? I would have Nikola Jokic at #5, and nonetheless, he's averaging 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. So you know what I'm saying? He is leading the league in assists, and he's leading the league in rebounds as a big man, which is crazy. And I have to give him his credit. Averaging a triple-double is not easy. You know what I'm saying? It is not easy. Oh, my bad, y'all. The camera's following me. But averaging a triple-double is not easy by no standard. But what I can say is when you've seen a 6'3" guard and Russell Westbrook average that for 4 seasons in a row, it does diminish it just a tad bit. See, it'd be different if we never had a Russ. It would hit a little different. I know he's the first center to accomplish this, but when you look in the totality, he's gonna end up passing Russ for triple doubles all time as long as he plays with no injuries. He's the easiest triple double threat in NBA history. There's nobody else that can get a triple double easier than him. He's gonna score 10. He's gonna get a 10 rebounds, and he's bound to get 10 assists as long as his guys can make shots. So I feel like when you look at the stat total, it does scream top 3. It does scream top 3 in the ladder. But to me, I feel like when you look at his season and the standard that we hold Jokic to, his team has been slipping as of late. They've been losing a lot of close games that they shouldn't lose to, and they've been taking some L's that they haven't. And the team has actually been pretty good without him, opposed to before where they're trash and they can't do nothing. They actually seem like they have a spine and a backbone without him. So I have to give Jamal Murray a little more credit. And I don't feel like you could beat MVP when Jamal Murray has had to man the ship a little more than he's ever had to do, and y'all stepping back as a team in the regular season. And I'm not saying that they're not a contender, because they're obviously still a contender. I feel like they're probably the biggest threat to the Thunder, and the Spurs are the biggest threat to the Thunder in the West. But when you're not playing up, well, I'm not gonna say you're not playing up to your standard, but when you're having bad stretches of basketball, towards the end of the season, the team is not playing their best basketball, I feel like you kind of got to be held to the standard of the greatest player in the league or the best player in the league. And the best player in the league is going to be consistently at the top, not going to have these bad stretches of basketball, and they're not going to be struggling in the clutch as much. And I'm not trying to say, I'm not Jokic hating, because he is leading the league in rebounds and assists, but I feel like the point total, the rebound total, and the assist total is a given. And with that being a given, I can't, like, I have to factor in the other things. So I'm just going to have to say I'm sorry. I have to drop him down. And that goes on to my next guy, right? Luka Doncic, right? I said he went down too far, but honestly, no, he didn't. He went right down to where he's supposed to be. I feel like fourth is a great spot for Luka, right? So Luka's averaging 33.6, 8 rebounds, 8.3 assists, right? So he's basically leading the league. He's leading the league in points, and he's 2 rebounds and 2 assists away from averaging a triple-double while leading the league in points. So obviously, to me, he has the second most impressive stat total among the latter. But when you factor in, just like Jokic, he's had a bad stretch of basketball. I wouldn't say he had a bad stretch of basketball. You know what I'm saying? I'm being objective. He had a bad stretch of basketball. He's brought it back alive in March. And I will say, the month he's had in March has been crazy. Dropping 60, 40s, 50s. He's averaged 39.5 over his last 11 games. He's also averaging 2.5 steals over his last 11. So I will give Luka a little credit there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen much defense from Jokic. As always, you know what I'm saying? Definitely not 2.5 steals over his last 11. But we all know Jokic is a guru on offense, and same for Luka. They're both gurus on offense. So I kind of put them in the same boat. I don't just go off of the stat total. I know Luka's gonna average 30 points. I know he's gonna get 8 rebounds. I know he's gonna get 8 assists. I know that. That's why I PRA him and Jokic all the time. That's why I PRA them, because they're gonna do that. They're stat sheet stuffers. That's why they don't give the best effort on defense. It's a give and take thing. So with the point totals, it amazes me because it's obvious he's all-time great, but it doesn't amaze me because it's like I know this is what Luka is capable of when he's playing his best basketball. So I have to look deeper into it. And when I look deeper into it, I just feel like the other guys I have ahead of you, they've been more consistent. They might not have had the offensive explosions you've had. They probably haven't had a month like you've had. You know what I'm saying? You probably had the best month out of all these out of all the contestants. Like, especially trying to make an MVP case. It's great that you did this in March down the stretch. And I'm glad that you're leading the Lakers to somewhat of contention. But, you know what I'm saying? Maybe in any other year, if it wasn't these couple candidates ahead of him, he probably would have been in top 3, top 2. But because the candidates are just that good, I will have to leave him at 4 due to his inconsistency and having a pretty bad stretch of basketball. You know what I'm saying? And that leads me on to my third spot, right? Boom. Jaylen Brown, right? This might be a little controversial. People might not agree with me. Last week he was number 6. I feel like he should be number 3 this week. You know what I'm saying? He's averaging 29 points, basically 7 rebounds, 5.2 assists. Yeah. I feel like if you look at the stats, he definitely has the weakest. Him and Wemby probably have the weakest stats. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to say, like, when you're going for the MVP, the guys with the weakest stats are making the best case. But that goes to show you sometimes the stats don't always tell the truth. They don't always tell all the numbers. Because you could be averaging 30, 10, and 10, but if you're giving up 40 points a game and there's other things that's happening around the team, you know what I'm saying? It's like you kind of can't equate when you got a guy in Jaylen Brown that's one, playing both sides of the ball. Then he's leading his team. Like, so the same thing where I was just like where I had to drop Jokic because Jamal Murray has had to carry a little more weight than he normally has, and he's doing a pretty good job. So I'm gonna have to give him a little more credit because it's not like Jokic is just carrying. He is carrying. He's doing his normal Jokic thing, but Jamal Murray is also a great all-star player this year. So with that being said, I kind of had to bump him down, and I have to do the same thing with. I have to do the same thing with Luka. He's playing with LeBron. He's playing with Austin Reeves. Those are 2 all-star caliber players who could have been in an all-star game. And they're guys who could drop 30 on any given night. So he always has this backup. See, Jaylen Brown, I'm not saying he doesn't have the backup because Jaylen Brown definitely has a great all-around deep team. But anybody that would have said the Celtics were going to be top 2 in the East, fighting for basically winning the East and actually in contention of being the best team in the East, anybody would have said that, you're being very disingenuous if you would have said that coming into the season, unless you're really a Celtics fan or a Jaylen Brown believer. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think his game. I didn't think he had that much. I thought he was probably the best second option in the game because he could go give you 30 any given night off of limited dribbles and pull ups and playing off ball while giving you first team all level defense. So I felt like he was like the perfect number 2 option. And I didn't think his playmaking, ball handling, decision making, and even shot making at a certain point, I didn't think it was capable or at the level of an all NBA first teamer. But he's for sure all NBA first team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's definitely been a top 4 or 5 player this year, this whole season, and he has not wavered at all. I mean, he's kind of wavered a little bit since Jason Tatum's been back, but that's the ebbs and the flows of I mean, I wouldn't even say waver. He's still dropping 30s. But, you know what I'm saying? That's the ebbs and the flows of getting a crucial piece back to your team. And I would just have to say his biggest case is that everybody knew the Lakers was going to be okay. Everybody predicted the Lakers was going to be, I didn't think they were going to be a contender, but people predicted they were going to be good. Everybody thought the Nuggets were going to be contenders. And you got 2 teams that look like they're better than the Nuggets. So I can't give you the MVP. You know what I'm saying? Same goes for the Lakers. And then Jaylen Brown comes into the season basically looking like everybody's clowning on him, me included, like he wouldn't be able to get it done. And look at him. His team is second in the East, one of the top records in the league. So I just in my humble opinion, I just have to give him number 3. Like, disregard all the stats, disregard that. Like, the stats don't matter. I'm gonna just be honest. The stats don't matter, right? When it comes down to the MVP, I want to know who is impacting the game the most. Who is swinging the game the most for their team. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Jaylen Brown did that. And then even if you want to go from that metric instead of the stats, if you want to go from narrative, what is a better narrative? One of the oldest NBA teams, one of the greatest franchises in NBA history, coming off of a down year where they lost in the second round, lost their best player to an Achilles injury, where they looked like they were going to have a down year, basically like a leap year or whatever, or a skip year, whatever you call it, and try to get a draft pick and maybe try to rebuild or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All this was happening before the season. I hope everybody can remember this. They got rid of Drew Holiday, they got rid of Chris Stapps, they gutted the team, and now they're running with guys, NBA team rejects like Luka Garza. I don't want to say he's a reject, but I wouldn't. But you got guys like Jordan Walsh, low round pick. You got Hugo Gonzalez, low round pick playing. You got Neemias Queta, a guy who nobody cares for. Peyton Pritchard, you got Gets Love. Like, I'm naming players that a lot of people would have thought we're not gonna play, we're not gonna get minutes, we're not gonna be able to do anything. And basically, what I just named sound like a play-in team, but they're at the top of the conference. So I just feel like that just rests the case right there. I don't need to say anything more for Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, I'm a Heat fan, and I commend you, my brother. You did a great thing, and the fact that Jason Tatum came back, I feel like they have a good chance. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel like he deserves to be at number 3. I feel like he's being slighted a little bit. But, you know, sometimes that's just how, you know what I'm saying, that just comes with the territory. All right. So now, y'all, now we down to the last 2. Wemby and we got Shai. So before I did my research, I had a certain person on who I thought, like, yeah, this is definitely the MVP. After I did my research, I said, yeah, I ain't going to lie to you, bro. I'm going to have to side with the other guy now. So, and I'm going to be honest, because like it kind of goes against what I think. No, my bad. It doesn't go against what I think. It kind of goes against, like, I want to say like the hierarchy or whatever. Like, it goes against the way people would judge the MVP or whatever. So I would say I'm going against the grain with my thinking. Now, I'm not gonna say it's too much against the grain, but I personally feel like that the impact of the game is way over the stats. But when the stats are comparable in a certain context, then you get what I'm saying? Then I feel like the stats don't matter as much. And I'm basically just going to say it, right? So the guy who I got as the MVP, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show y'all. The guy that I got as the MVP is Victor Wembanyama. Yes. So Shai, as great as he is number 2 on my list. I feel like he's in the right spot. 31.5, 4.4 rebounds, 6.6 assists. He's done his job. He's shooting 72% over his last 4 games, 30 points. He has 30 or more points in 41 games, second to Doncic. So otherworldly scorer, bro. Otherworldly scorer. You know what I'm saying? He's shooting 55% from the field. He's shooting 38% from the 3, 88% from the free throw line, a 59 effective field goal percentage. You get what I'm saying? Like, his true shooting percentage is probably ridiculous. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's probably all-time great. Let's go look at his true shooting percentage. Where is it? I can't even find it. True shooting percentage. Yeah, I don't even see it, y'all. But I know his true shooting percentage is like a 66, right? His effective field goal percentage is almost at a 60, y'all. It's almost at a 60. This statistic adjusts for the fact that his 3-point field goal is worth more than a 2. So basically, it just effective field goal just adjusts for the fact that 3 points is worth more than 2. You get what I'm saying? So he's shooting otherworldly from the field. Like, you're probably not gonna find another guard being this efficient, this consistent. You get what I'm saying? And that's amazing. That is amazing. I will say, like, he definitely has better stats than Wemby. Like, his 31, his 6.5 assists, 4.3 rebounds is definitely topping Wemby stats, right? But you got to take it into account, right? Wemby is not only is Wemby in his 3rd season, he's 22 years old, y'all. He would be the second guy to win MVP at the young age of 22. So the mere fact he's in this conversation with a guy who's on year 7 and is an MVP already, I just feel like you got to give him his credit right there. But not only is the dude 22 years old, he's about to be the DPOY, y'all. He's averaging 3.1 blocks, 1.1 steals. That's 4.2 stocks a game. He's definitely leading the league in stocks, for sure. Then he's not only leading the league in stocks, he's giving you 24 and 11, right? So it's not like he's putting up 20 and 10. He's giving you 24 and 11, right? And all right, so this is what I mean by stats in a certain context don't really mean nothing. Because let's just say, right, Wemby is playing. Oh, this is another thing. Wemby is only playing 29 minutes. So he's doing all of his damage in 29 minutes. Where Shai is playing a whopping 33 minutes, right? Which is not that much bigger. But, 4 minutes in the NBA is a lot. That's 33% of the quarter. You see what I'm saying? 4 minutes is 33% of an NBA quarter. So Wemby is doing his damage in 33% less of an NBA quarter than Shai is, right? So let's just say we was to put it all into a vacuum and we give them both 36 minutes a night. Wemby is at 29.8, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 point. He's at 5 stocks, 3.8 blocks, 1.3 steals, 5 stocks a game. Whereas we go to SGA. All right. SGA amazing, 33, but he was already averaging 31, 6.5 assists up to 7. Then he was averaging 4.5 rebounds up to 4.7. So if you was to up his total 3 more minutes or 2 more minutes, whatever, he wouldn't be doing that much more. Wemby is basically my point is they are purposefully making sure that Wemby doesn't play over 30 minutes because he's super tall and lanky. They don't want him to get injured. If he wasn't so tall and so if his body wasn't so injury prone, he would be playing 35 minutes a night, like a Giannis or somebody like that. And he would be averaging 30 a night. Or he would be averaging more close to that 28, 27. Or it would be looking like 28, 29 points with the 13 rebounds, with the 5 stocks. That's better than Shai's stats. So when you put it in a vacuum, he's giving you MVP Shai-like production, but he's just doing it in a smaller vacuum, right? So I feel like when you add the stats together, they're very comparable. But this is what took me over the top, chat. This is what took me over the top, right? So I'm not the biggest in the advanced numbers. I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like I'm the greatest when it comes to the advanced numbers, but this is some advanced numbers. These are advanced numbers I'm good with, right? So we have the offensive rating or defensive rating. In 100 possessions, they're scoring 33 more points better than a possession, right? So that's way above the league average. They are looking at an all-time great offense with Shai on the court, which is obviously a given. Like Shai is that level of player, and then there goes his defensive rating, right? 108, meaning that the teams are scoring 108 points in 100 possessions, which is pretty low for this NBA. So they're a pretty good defense when he's on the court, right? Let's go look at Wemby. All right, so we already know Wemby's in his third season. Wemby's he's not the offensive player that Shai is, because Shai is an all-time great offensive player. Like I've told y'all, the field goal percentage, the efficiency, the scoring, the consistency. Wemby's not there yet as an offensive player, but when he's on the floor, his team is well over. Right, so the let's just say that, right, the average is about 116, 115 a night. He is leading an above average offense, but his defense when he's on the court is 101. The team is scoring 1 point more. They're scoring 1 points per possession over. So they only score 1 more point over the amount of possession that they had, which is terrible. In this NBA, this is literally, you are probably like a college offense in this NBA at 101. So since he's been in the NBA, he's had an amazing defensive rating, right? But now it's otherworldly. This is all-time great for this NBA. You're not going to find this anywhere else. And then he's still leading an above-average offense at that. And then he took on a big jump. An 11-point swing in offensive rating is a big jump. You get what I'm saying? And then not only is it at 120, this is at 101. This is what I want to state, right? This is at 101. The 120 is amazing, but the 101 is the big factor, right? So basically what I'm saying is SGA is leading an all-time great offense, right? When he's on the court. Wemby is leading an all-time great defense when he's on the court. Wemby has an above average, way above average offense when he's on the court. SGA has an above average defensive rating when he's on the court. Okay. So now when it gets this close, how can you really determine who's impacting the team more, right? At the end of the day, MVP is about the most impactful player, right? That's my estimation. That's what I think. So I have to go to the on-off numbers, right? And I know it's a little difficult for y'all to read, so I'm just going to explain it. So the team, when he's on the court, 122 offense, basically a 130 offensive rating, right? And this is just the team itself when he's on the court. Not just him. This is the team. So they're at a 123 offensive rating. Like I say, that's above average, right? The defensive rating is 107. For the defensive rating basically this is the offensive rating of his opponents, which is basically the defensive rating. So it's basically 107, right? So they're scoring 107 points per possession. They're scoring 122 points possession, right? The difference is a 15-point difference. That is amazing. So when he's on the court, his team is outscoring the other team by 15 points. All right? When he's off the court, his team is still 5 points per possession better than the other team, and they become a better defense when he leaves. Yes, they do tank, and they do become a below average offense when he's off of the court. They do become a below average offense when he's off the court, but they still have an all-time great defense, right? With him off the court, they're even better. Right, but the offense just tanks, which I mean is a given though, right? Because we all know that SGA, when you take 33 points off of the floor, shooting 55% from the three, from the field, and 40% from the basically 40% from the three, like that's a big offensive load to be missing, right? So basically, on off, right? When he's on and off the court, his team is winning 9.5. His team is winning by 9.5, y'all. Feel me? So this is the best way I can sum it up. When he's on the court, 15 points over. When he's off the court, they're still 5 points over their opponents. The difference is he has a 9.5 net rating, chat, which is when you take the offensive rating and the defensive rating and you subtract it, right? His team has a 9.5 net rating when he's on the court. All right. So this is all-time great, by the way. If you're if you're winning your minutes, if your team is winning your minutes offensively while you're on the court, that is amazing. So to be winning minutes by 10, you're basically, if he plays 40 minutes a game, there's no way the team's going to lose. Because in them 8 minutes, they would have to be losing them 8 minutes by 15 to 20 points just for them to overcome them 10 points that he's winning the minutes by, right? Boom. So now that I done explained all that to y'all, right? And I'm sorry that I'm dragging it on, but now we're getting to the gist of it. And this is why Victor Wembanyama is the MVP, y'all. I'm gonna just be honest. This is why, right here. This is the reason. Okay. All right. This is the reason. Like we just said, offensive rating when he's on the court, 122, y'all. So even though SGA by himself has an offensive rating of 133, so meaning when he's on the court, his team, his team is he generates 133 points per possession when he's on the court. But his team is at what? 122.9. Wemby's is at 122.8 when he's on the court. When Wemby's is off of the court, they're actually a better offense than the SGA's team when Wemby's not on the court. And okay, that's cool. That's cool. All right. But when you look at it, right? Let's look deeper. 16.8 offensive rating, meaning they're worse defensively. So yes, they are better than SGA's team offensively without him on the court. But when Wemby's not on the court, this team is giving up 116. They are basically I wouldn't say they're below average, but they're not one of the better teams. They're not one of the better defensive teams no more. They stopped being a good defensive team when Wemby's off the court. When Wemby's on the court, 106. So let's look at it. They have a very comparable offensive rating to SGA. 122.9 to 122.8. Defensive rating, 106.4, which is all-time great, to 107.8, right? When SGA is off of the court, look, they're even better. When he gets off of the court, they're way worse. 10 points worse. So, if that doesn't tell you, they are losing the minutes when he's off of the court by 10 points. Right? They're losing those minutes by 10 points. I really don't know how much I can explain it. I really don't know how better I can explain it, bro. Even though his team is better offensively than SGA's team when he's not on the court, they're so bad defensively that they're actually losing the minutes that Wemby's not on the court. So when Wemby's not on the court, his team's actually losing the minutes, bro. When he's on the court, they are plus 16, bro. His on-off is plus 16.8. So when his team is winning, when he's on the court, his team is winning games by 17 points. SGA's team is winning by basically 10 more points than by his team, right? But his team is very much it's still going to be a good team. They would still be a good team with this defensive rating and this offensive rating. They would still be a good team because they would still be winning the minutes by +5. So they could still possibly be a playoff team. Without Wemby, this team would crater. This team would be one of the worst teams in the league. So, with that being said, with a plus 16.8 net rating, Wemby's team is winning his minutes by 17 points. That is a whole 8 points higher. That's over 7 to 8 points higher than what Shai is doing, and he's doing it in 29 minutes. And I'm sorry to say, when your team goes from one of the best offensive teams in the league to the best defense, when you're on the court, to one of the worst offenses, to one of the worst defenses, and a solid offense, a okay offense, that's crazy. Whereas when SGA gets off the court, they fall defensively. They fall offensively. They do fall. But they are so good defensively, they are still winning the minutes without SGA by 5. And if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know. Wemby's team is losing his minutes by 0.4. SGA's team is winning the minutes he's off the court by 5. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But what I do know is, Wemby, you're the MVP, my guy. And if y'all disagree, y'all let me know. Y'all give me y'all take on why y'all think who is the MVP. But this is why I think Wemby's the MVP. Y'all let me know in the chat. Love y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is my first video. Hopefully it goes good. I hope y'all enjoy it. Your boy 31 out.